A stellar gate brings together the largest armies on the planet in the Gulf of Aden. I have to tell you about the Gulf of Aden. In this place there is a huge military concentration representing all the countries of our planet. It has installed military fleet of USA, Russia, China, Japan, Iran, Germany, NATO, EU, European Union, UN, United Nations, and Blackwater. We have, in this area, a military concentration that has not been seen in years. All the advanced countries of the planet, they deploy an unprecedented military fleet to fight against three Monte Cacos. A Stargate brings together the world's largest armies. I die of laughter when they justify it by saying that it is to control groups of naval terrorists, pirates. This does not fit. That is to say, all the advanced countries of the planet, they deploy an unprecedented military fleet, all to one, to fight against three Monte Cacos in barges and with armament of second hand. Can you believe it? I remind you that some terrorists from the Gulf of Aden have attacked Zodiac-powered fishing boats. This is like the comic strips of Mortadelo and Filemon. I understand that they have left a small strip, far from the area, so that ships from the Suez Canal can pass. They are isolating the area so that no one can pass and cannot see what is happening. They have invented Al-Qaeda terrorists, bad guys, who want to make us a lot of pupa. I remember now the false terrorist caught on the Detroit plane in December 2009, which, by accident, was Yemen. That is, preparing the ground and looking for excuses to fill the entire Gulf of Aden with military. Door, loading cables, 1. In 2007, American and European scientists located certain electromagnetic anomalies in the Gulf of Aden. At the same time they detect an increase of the UFO phenomenon in the zone. 2. At the end of 2007 the first pirate Zodiac attack fishing boats. 3. In 2008 pirate attacks increase. In this year, pirates, they are improving the armament and the boats. 4. In 2009 it is said that Al-Qaeda cells have awakened and are destabilizing the area. Peter Leeson proposes the folly of privatizing the Gulf of Aden to end the problem of Somali pirates. 5. In 2010, the passage through the area is restricted, only some oil and merchant ships, and controlled by the military, can pass, far away. Apparently, since January 5, 2010 the vortex is fully open. It is important to note that, according to the Baltic Exchange Dry Index, which shows global navigation, 93% of ships passing through the Gulf of Aden have been called back to their ports. Stargate, according to Aaron McCollum, the military is there for the existence of a Stargate in the Gulf of Aden. McCollum is a military man involved in top-secret experiments, a third-generation victim of mental control and Army USA training to get super soldiers, supernormal soldiers. You have an example of this in the movie Men Staring at Goats, by George Clooney. When he was 3 years old, he was thrown into the pool, and he began to drown. When they brought him out, he heard them say, "We have won." Much like what was said about Duncan O'Finioan when he was tested at a very young age to see his ESP qualities, extrasensory perceptions. McCollum meets O'Finioan and David Corso from past events as victims of mental control and military education to become super soldiers. McCollum tells a lot of things in the hour-and-a-half interview, but it's just an introduction to another interview they have planned with Carrie Cassidy, where he wants to tell everything he knows, with names and data. McCollum is in a hurry to find out about everything that he can divulge, and that time is not on our part. He believes that this year gives us things like a false flag operation in the USA and in other places of the world, but a third world war, that really is already happening. Gulf. What is a Stargate? It is something like a vortex of electromagnetic energy that opens dimensional doors to travel through space. In this photo we can see an image of the anomaly in the Gulf of Aden. Fantasy? No, it is not science fiction. In the last century a great number of experiments were carried out, based on the science of Nikola Tesla, which allowed the disappearance of complete ships, to reappear in another part of the planet, sometimes with disastrous consequences for the crew. You can see the film The Philadelphia Experiment. There are scientists and military who, they claim, are using these techniques to send people to Mars. Eden, who are opening the Estella Gulf Gate of Aden? McCollum claims that alien spacecraft enter and exit this magnetic anomaly and that there is an underwater base just below. Biblical prophecies already pointed to this area, specifically Ethiopia, which is just across the Gulf, as the site of the beginning of time. The armies of our world are about to unleash an unprecedented defensive war. According to a source, Sorkafal reports that the Russian Interior Ministry and the FSB, Special Forces, have been circulating in the Kremlin rumors that the armed forces of our world are about to trigger an unprecedented defensive war against whom? Stellar, against those called by them, giant founders of the biblical Garden of Eden. This is to prevent our planet from being colonized again by an ancient alien race known to the ancients as the Anunnakis, or Nephilims, whose ancient Babylonian texts indicate that they are the ancient watchers of the earth. Most disturbing is that the world's naval forces are settled in the area historically described as the freshwater river flowing out of Eden, which is the exact location given by the ancient Babylonian texts for the seat of the main submarine base of the Watchers. This type of news, however absurd or difficult to believe for a common person and even the informed of the subject, are a theme known by all the world powers for many years. An example of this, Ronald Reagan, on September 21, 1987, told the United Nations, "In our obsession with the antagonisms of the moment we often forget how much it unites the members of humanity. Maybe we need a universal extraterrestrial threat to make us recognize this common bond." Everything indicates that in the Gulf of Aden the differences between countries have vanished because, as we can see, the United States and Iranian naval forces face a global threat even though they are on the verge of a common war. In a world where the economic structure is falling apart and where the control of the planet has been disputed, the question now would be, who are the real good in this? A Stargate brings together the world's largest armies. The Stargate activated in the Gulf of Aden is of positive origin. Nibiru. Mark Huber relates what happens in the Gulf of Aden. The Stargate activated in the Gulf of Aden is of positive origin. Nibiru. Negative. Nibiruan reptiles do not want this portal to be opened and sent to the military around the planet to avoid it. Something they will not be able to avoid. It is a circular vortex of a mile in diameter that is an opening to Telos and Red Agartha. It is maintained by technologies consisting of metal rings suspended above the surface. This ancient Stargate was originally incorporated by the positive Nibiruans, including Mother Sekhmet and an advanced group of positive Anunnakis, before the renegades began to mess with this planet. Door physical description: an annular circular vortex of a mile in diameter that extends through what would be water and towards an opening to Telos and the Red Agartha. It also extends upwards of a mile or more, and is maintained by technologies of the Galactic Federation, consisting of metallic rings, of non-terrestrial origin, suspended above the surface for at least 1 mile. Outside this ring base, about 5 miles away, are the several hundred naval warships around the world, who are overseeing this anomaly. The Stargate, that's what it is, has been self-activated as sensible intelligence and dimensional portal. Ship in the form of pure cigar from the Silver Fleet entered our dimension from below the anomaly, Telos. This was followed by units of the Amethyst Fleet. Special purpose pyramid-shaped ships entered through the Stargate of the Gulf of Aden. They took positions, one west of the Stargate, one on the north side and one on the east side. They are using this portal to create a specialized lens to support a next higher purpose.